guys, so for day 29 of Halloween designs, I'm going to be doing a Y2K themed kind of Halloween set. So to start off, I'm taking Living Dead from Nails by Dev, as well as Boss Battle from Nails by Dev, and I'm doing like this half and half kind of color blocking on the nail, almost kind of like an asymmetrical French tip kind of look, but not really a French tip look. It really is more so just color blocking. So I'm taking a liner brush. This is an 11mm liner brush, and I'm just doing like the line that I want and the shape that I want the color blocking to be done. I went in with the green first. I don't know why. I just did. And then I took the brush straight from the bottle and filled in the rest of the area that I wanted. And this green, I really like this green. It's super pretty. It's like a glittery green, and like the glitters are like a pinky, purpley, iridescent kind of glitter. But also from this angle you see right now, it looks blue. So it does kind of depend on the angle you're looking at it from. If those glitters look more pinky or if they look more blue. Super pretty. Love this color. I need to use it more. I did do 2 coats of this because it definitely needed it. I mean, I could have just left it with 1 coat, but I felt like 2 coats would have just really made that color like pop out a little more. So I did do 2 coats of that, and obviously cured each coat for 60 seconds. And apparently I was feeling bold, and before I cured the green, I decided to go in with the purple as well. So just doing that right next to each other. I think my thinking for doing it this way was because I am going to be covering up that line there that is like separating the 2 colors, that if they did mix a little bit, it wasn't going to be that big of a deal. So I think that's why I was like, I'll just do it all at once. The purple, I think I did 2 coats on the purple as well. I mean, probably. I usually do 2 coats for all my colors anyhow. And again, cured each coat for 60 seconds. Now I'm going in with Trick or Treat from Nails by Dev. It's this really bright, like pumpkin orange color. I thought it fit in real well with like the Halloween theme. Painted this nail with it. Did 2 coats of this. Cured each coat for 60 seconds. And then I took this purple color from Ball Pit. It's called Witching Hour. It's a really pretty like pearl type of polish. It's one of those ones where you can like do a design in it and it like holds its shape. So it doesn't like fully level out. But it does kind of level out, so it's not like lumpy and bumpy or anything like that. It is a very sheer color. I ended up having to do 3 coats of this, and I cured each coat for 60 seconds. Now I'm going in with Ghost with the Most. I think that's what that's called. From Nails by Dev, painting this nail with it. Did 2 coats of this, cured each coat for 60 seconds. And now going back to this color block nail, like I said, I am doing a Y2K themed set, so I just went on Pinterest and searched up like Y2K nail designs and like found some pictures of like the books that they would have in nail salons where they had like the samples of the designs that they could do. And I just kind of took some of my favorite designs that I was liking from those and did it on these nails. And so one of the nails that I saw was like this color blocking where it had like the glitter up at the top and then the solid color down at the free edge, and then it had like zebra print on that solid color, and then it had some of those random wispy lines that everyone was doing back then on the glitter part. So that's what I'm doing. I'm using that orange that I used on that previous orange nail that I painted, and just going in and doing these little tiger stripes. I think it took me a couple tries to do the tiger stripes. Yeah, or the zebra stripes, whatever you want to call them. Tiger stripes, zebra stripes. Same thing. I mean, they're not, but they are. I didn't like how they came out the first time. They weren't really looking the way I wanted to. So the way that I ended up doing it was doing like a little triangle on the side of the nail and just did like a squiggly line because I did want them to be a little thicker and a little bigger than what I had originally done. So making this little triangle for the base first worked a lot better, and then just like dragging it out to create that little squiggly line for the little tiger, zebra stripe, whatever. And I did that for this entire bottom half, and then for the top half I used the same orange and did like those wispy lines that was all over everybody's nails, you know, early 90s or late 90s, early 2000s. Why was everyone obsessed with those lines? I couldn't tell you, but that was like the number one design on everything, so I just went with it. But yeah, doing this Y2K set, the idea for this was this was one of the last sets that I did, and I had realized like I didn't really do very many Halloween sets that were like Halloween but not in your face Halloween. And whenever I do Halloween sets, I do like to try and do a little bit of everything for everyone, because you know, not everyone wants super in your face Halloween. Some want, you know, just the Halloween colors with like a normal type of design, not a Halloween design. Some people want the Halloween design, but they don't want the classic Halloween color. So I do like to try and include all of that in whenever I do my Halloween sets. That way there's something for everybody. And I realized that I didn't really do that this year. I really was like very Halloween specific, I feel like. And I was like, I need to do something that's like Halloween themed, but not necessarily Halloween design. So like use the Halloween colors, but not do an actual Halloween design. And it took me a while to come up with an idea. And I was like, oh, Y2K designs are super popular this year. Like that's what a lot of people are doing. And I'm like, you can easily do a Y2K themed set, but use Halloween colors on it. So that was the inspiration for this set and why I decided to do this. And I think it turned out pretty well. There are some things that I'm not too happy about with it. Specifically this nail. I don't know if it was the colors that I use or just this nail in general just didn't fit very well with the rest of the set. I don't know. This isn't my favorite nail of the set, but I mean, it definitely gives Y2K vibes, but I don't know. This nail, I should have done something else, honestly, for this, but this was like the first nail that I did before doing the other ones, so it's part of the set. It kind of goes, kind of doesn't. So it is what it is. Also, when doing these wispy lines, these long wispy lines, I definitely recommend using a long liner brush, like a 15 millimeter liner brush, because they weren't turning out how I wanted them. And it was when I was doing this nail right here when I realized this brush just is not working for these long wispy lines that was on everything. Like, it just, the shorter the brush, the shorter your lines are gonna be. So I'm like, I gotta pull out my 15 millimeter and use this, because this is gonna give me those nice long lines that I was wanting, and it was going to have that, you know, wispy tail at the end. Like, I could flick it and it's gonna give that, like, you know, it's gonna go from thick to thin the way that you want it to look. So yeah, I definitely recommend using a 15 millimeter or longer when doing this design. It just makes it a lot easier, and the lines come out a whole lot better, and you can get them a lot thinner as well. So anyhow, for this one, I'm doing that, I don't know what this particular design is called. It almost looks like a flower kind of to me, because it has like that little, the lines creating that little bulb there, and then the lines going off like a lotus flower almost, it kind of looks like to me. But yeah, it's another classic Y2K nail design that everyone was getting, where it's in the corner there. I did that on the orange nail and the green nail, and I'm using the black from Ball Pit to do this design. And once I got it on, I did go ahead and cure for 60 seconds. And now I'm using Recently Deceased and Hi, I'm Chucky from Nails by Dev, a purple glitter and an orange glitter, and I'm just putting it right there in that little center spot, the little bulb thing, or the oval leaf, I don't know what you want to call it, part. I did go a little thick with it just so I could really get all that glitter in there and get the full color payoff. I only did one coat of it. I didn't want to do 2 coats of it, so I did apply it a little thicker than I normally would, but not so thick that it wouldn't cure. Everything cured perfectly fine. So I did the purple on the orange nail and then the orange on the green nail. After I got that on, I cured it for 60 seconds. And then I don't know if after I did this part, if I did the dots, but at some point I did, like, you know, the little dots that accompany that design as well. Apparently I didn't do it immediately after that. But those little dots that go with that, like those lines, I did add those on with the black. Now I'm just going in on the pinky nail and doing some little flowers, because these type of little flowers were also super popular. So I just did 3 of them, and I did that same green color that I painted on the pointer nail, I think, for these ones. And then I was going to take some rhinestones and put them in the middle of that. But before I did that, I had to figure out what I was doing on the thumb. So I decided to just go ahead and do the flower design as well on the thumb. I was saving the thumb for last because I really didn't know what I was going to do with it. I didn't know what colors I was going to use. After doing that flower design on the pinky, I was like, I really kind of want to do that again on another nail. So, and the thumb was the only one left, so that's why I did that on the thumb. For the base color, I used Nightmare Fuel from Ball Pit. It's a black polish with hollow glitters in it. I did 2 coats of this, cured each coat for 60 seconds. It was a limited edition color, so it's not available anymore, but I do really love this color. And I really wanted to use it, so I used it for this. And now I'm taking the orange that I used for the other nail and did the little flowers on it. And then I'm going in and adding on all the little rhinestones that I'm adding on the nails. So for this nail, it was a string of rhinestones separating those 2 different colors. Like I said earlier, I didn't really care how that line looked there in the middle because I was going to be covering it up with these rhinestones. And I decided to use black rhinestones for this, so I just laid down a line of rhinestone glue there in the middle, and now I'm going in with my LGN shiny top coat and applying that to the nail because, like I would say whenever I do rhinestones and charms, I hate going around them after they're on and, you know, trying to make sure that I don't get top coat on the rhinestones and stuff. So I do apply it beforehand, so then I can just stick the rhinestones on, cure it, and then I'm finished with that nail. So got that all on. Now I'm just going in and applying these black rhinestones, just going right along that center line there that separates the green and the purple. And once I get those on, I do go ahead and cure for 60 seconds. And like I said earlier, I was adding rhinestones to the middles of the flowers, so I just took that squeeze gummy jelly rhinestone glue from Nail Couture, just like I did on the previous nails, and I just put a little dot of it in the middle of the flowers, and then went in with my top coat, applied that to the nail, and then I took the rhinestones and placed them in the middle of the flowers. On the green flowers, I used the neon orange rhinestones that I have sitting there, and then on the orange flowers, I used the neon green rhinestones that I have sitting there. And then once I got those placed on, I did go ahead and cure for 60 seconds. And then here I am adding on those dots. I think I forgot to add the dots on earlier, and now I'm like realizing I didn't add them on, and so I'm adding them on it now. I think I ended up doing 2 lines of dots. I know I only did 1 line there on that first nail, but I think I ended up doing 1 line of dots on one side and then one line of dots on the other side, just to balance it out a little bit. But then after I got those on, I did go ahead and cure for 60 seconds. And now I'm just going in with my LGN Shiny Top Coat and top coating those last two nails, since those are the last ones that needed to be top coated. And then after I get that applied, I do go ahead and cure for 60 seconds. And this is the finished result. I do like this set. I think it definitely gives like Halloween vibes without being, you know, in your face Halloween, which is exactly what I was going for. Also, this thumbnail, like with the black and the hollow glitters and that bright orange and green, was reminding me of Day of the Dead, which in Spanish is called, and I'm going to sound so American saying this. I mean, I am American, but like, I'm gonna sound so stupid saying this, and it's gonna sound really bad, and like, I don't mean to, but I can't like roll my R's and stuff, but like, Dia de los Muertos? I apologize. That was so bad. I should have just stuck with saying Day of the Dead instead of trying to anyhow. It reminded me of that, and I'm like, I feel like that could also work for that type of set, because the bright neon green and the orange, because it reminds me of like the they're marigolds, right? The orange ones with that like bloom out really pretty. I think they're marigolds. I hope they're marigolds. But it was reminding me of that, and I was like, oh, that could fit really well with Day of the Dead set. Which is not a Halloween costume. Anyhow, Day of the Dead and Halloween are two very separate things and two very separate holidays. But anyhow, overall, this set is really cute. I do like it. I think it definitely gives the Halloween vibes I was going for without being like super in your face Halloween. Which, like I said, is exactly what I was going for. It is a little wild, a little chaotic, but I mean, those Y2K sets are a little wild and chaotic. But that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it.